And just we hit it off. She's just the most dynamic dynamo you'll ever meet. Cares truly about helping folks. And it's amazing, you know, when you see what she's done. Sold over 2 billion. 2 billion with a B. To put it in perspective, I went online. Julia Roberts in her movies has done $1 billion in box office. 1 billion. Forbes has done 2 billion with direct response and selling things. She helped with the Jack LaLanne juicer, Body by Jake, and tons of things that you have seen. So let's watch the screen for this little intro video. It'll do her a lot better justice than I ever will.
Is there somebody who wants to talk to me?
She's the face that launched 1,000 products. TV pitchwoman, Forbes Riley.
My whole goal is to inspire people to live a better life. And I get to do that through products.
Forbes knows a good idea when she sees one.
I think my genius, if I can say genius, is marketing, is looking at what people want to buy.
Forbes Riley has made upwards of $2 billion selling other people's products.
The former Miss Teenage New York struggled with her weight for years. But Forbes' greatest success came when she found an undiscovered product that hit close to home.
This is an award-winning German design, and it was billed as a 5-minute workout over in England.
When Forbes Riley found the SpinGym, it was being sold by someone else. It wasn't doing particularly well.
Still, Forbes believed in the tiny exercise gadget and was convinced she could sell it.
We had to mortgage our house, our kids' education. I put everything on the line to be able to order my first round of SpinGyms. And you know, bless my husband for looking at me saying, I believe in you.
Forbes did what she does best. She pitched her product at her local grocery store and hair salon. She even hawked the SpinGym out of the back of her car.
So what you have here is an example of somebody who could sell ice to Eskimos. I mean, this woman can sell.
Don't you love this?
Then in 2006, Forbes struck gold with the Home Shopping Network.
They put a very small order in, just 5,000 units. January 4th, we launched. In 34 minutes, I sold out 5,500 units. It flew out the door. Bam, I'll tell you what.
Since then, Riley has sold as many as 12,000 SpinGyms in a single day. Her record, $165,000 in sales in just 30 minutes on the air.
My ladies, if you don't like the back.
While sales continue to soar, Forbes spends wisely.
I have a house in Florida. I've got 2 homes in California, one of them's on the water. These are nice things. You get to have some toys and play and boats and cars.
Riley's main residence is her 7-figure mansion in St. Petersburg, Florida.
It's one of these communities where you need millions of dollars to even buy a house there.
Welcome to the house that SpinGym built. And this is my great room. And it is great because we celebrate parties here, we've got the kids, but this is one of the fun features you won't find in every house. See that wall of mirrors? It was there when we moved in. I didn't really love it, and then I realized my kids and I, we love to dance. So it's like, oh my goodness, look, Mommy was a Broadway dancer. Oh, can you tell?
Forbes also has a few guilty pleasures.
Well, I am definitely a girl. A girl who loves her things, her shoes, her fancy Louboutins from Paris. Oodles and oodles and oodles of shoes. And this isn't all of them. This is just this season's. You know, I kind of like it. Getting dressed in this closet totally makes me feel like a movie star. I've got little fancy handbags. Oh, I've got a collection of these too. But you know, even though I've got all this stuff here, there's still some mornings I go, I don't have a thing to wear.
For an at-home treat, Forbes enjoys her very own custom $3,500 sauna.
It's so cool. Actually, it's not. It's really hot.
But spending time with her children is Riley's greatest luxury.
There's apple juice. Go for it. What SpinGym's afforded me is the freedom to not have to go to work every day. That, to me, is the best indulgence in the world. 2.
Happy with her success, Forbes now plans to help other entrepreneurs make their dreams come true with a state-of-the-art television studio.
If you work with Forbes Riley, you're guaranteed to have fun. The other thing you're guaranteed to do is get fit.
She also suggests dream big.
I'm a huge believer in telling the universe what you want, setting your goals and achieving them. That's see it, believe it, and achieve it. It really works.
A nice, standing, warm welcome to my good friend, Miss Forbes Riley.
Have a seat. Wow, what a lovely welcome. I've been watching from the back of the room. I'm so excited. You know, I found myself in this room about 6 years ago for the very first time, meeting James. And before I start, I really just want to take a moment that's going to embarrass him, I hope. Come on, Payback's a bitch. And just to say what a phenomenal man he is. You know, I met Chris in the back, who had also said one of the things that he did was to believe in him, and that's why he's here. When I met James, I was not speaking on any stage anywhere. Didn't think I could. By the way, let me just really quick with the cameras. I don't mind when you take photos, but I have a big mouth, and so if it's a candid, it's usually like that. So I would prefer to pose, and I will pose all day long, but when I see the... it just makes me so, yeah. I don't want to see it on Facebook. All right, so here's the deal. I just want to say thank you, James, very much for believing in me, inspiring so many people in being who you are. But the truth is, you wouldn't be who you are without some other people. And I want to give a big round of applause to Davey and to his sister Cindy, because they are the backbone of all of this. Make no mistake, this doesn't happen by accident, okay? And I've watched. I do need a clicker here. And the second thing, I want to take a quick moment. I was in this room 6 years ago for the first time. 5 years ago on Saturday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call that says my best friend and the woman who inspired my business has died in Florida of an asthma attack at 51. Joe Theis was speaking that day. It was now 7, 8 o'clock. I thought, do I show up? By 11 o'clock, I walked into that room right back there, trying very hard to pull myself together. And there were some people who were in this room. If you were there, Andrew, raise your hand. A whole bunch of people were there who hugged me and loved me. And that happened right here in this room with people that I didn't really know. And I think I got through it because of the love and the feeling in this room. And James mentioned that one of the things you get out of this experience is connections, lifetime friendships. And I'm absolutely living proof of that. And so I would just like to, that is Frances, take a quick moment and dedicate this to her. So, it is full circle, and it is a miracle that I am here, that I've been asked to speak, and that I get to share some very important things with you. Because I believe what I have to say this morning is incredibly important, seriously important. So much so that I'm going to take a moment and start by, you guys have been here for days. You've heard lots of information. You've got lots of nuggets, yes? Tons of information. You are filled to the brim. So how can I possibly add some more to that? Well, I'm going to ask you to do something for me. Take a big breath. Put your pens down. Let the Facebook and the Pinterest and the email just go for a second, and all the stuff that you've learned. Trust me, it's gonna get weird. But if you take a cup of water and you add more water to it, that's my New York. If you add more water to it, what happens? It just overflows, right? I don't want to be just another thing that overflows into your life. What I have to say has resulted in me grossing more than $2 billion. Would you like to know some of those secrets? Yeah, I wish someone had told me this. And so I'm going to take a cup, and I'm going to pour some very valuable information into it, right? And I'm going to wave my little magic wand that Forbes Riley can do, and I'm going to say, wow. I want you to absorb all the water. Okay. So that, in fact, is a magic trick. So why did I start with a magic trick? Well, it's because my dad, that's me up there. Isn't that cute? Or up there. I'm watching you down there. It's me right here. That's actually me 54 years ago. I look pretty good for 54, don't I? You know, I noticed that I'm the only woman on the speaking panel. I love that. And someone asked, I talked to someone in the elevator last night. I said, what would you like me to do today and be for you? And she said, just represent us women. So I'm happy to do that. I really am. And you are right there. See, we do notice, you never know who you meet in the hallway, in the elevator. I'm going to give you a couple of nuggets. I can't give you as much as I'd like to. I'm going to teach a class in this. I do this. James has got part of this going. You're going to want to hear some of these things because it's been miraculous. So my dad was a magician, amateur. in a big box of tricks, and he'd always show them to me, and I was always so excited by them, and he'd take them down and do them over and over again. But there's some things that I learned I didn't realize from studying magic that I took into my life pitching. So he was a magician. What do you learn from that? Well, magicians do tricks. They have a methodology, they have a structure, and they practice. My whole pitch today to you is about the art and magic of the what? The pitch. I've met people in the hallway out here who couldn't wait to meet me, and they couldn't wait to pitch their story. And 3 minutes into them talking and talking and talking, I'm like, I don't hear it. I don't get it. If you had 30 seconds to pitch somebody, you can change your life. I go on home shopping, I get 15 to 20 minutes. By the way, that video is a little old. I've now pitched 61,000 SpinGyms in a single day and grossed $1.6 million. The art of the pitch. And I will also share with you some insight that when I launched the product, it didn't do necessarily very well. It had a very low point, and I reconstructed my pitch. The pitch is what it is the secret to life. So a pitch must create excitement, mystery, just like a magician does. You guys were all drawn into that, and then something happened. The magic, that person that you're pitching must do something. They must buy into it with their dollars. They must pay attention, or they just buy into you and your concept. If they're not doing that, I don't care how good your idea is, what happens to it? Nothing. That's what happened to my dad, by the way. My dad was an inventor. He created some of the goofiest things you've ever seen. And he turned to me one day in the garage. We had all these, like the Willy Wonka of inventor, the Tinker toys. And he said, kiddo, how do I get my inventions out to the world? And I said, Dad, I have no idea. I'm 8 years old. And for the last 46 years, I've been working very hard to get inventors to get their dreams out, because that's my personal passion. I don't care what your product is, by the way. If you can't pitch it, I coach, I can't believe I do this in my own life. I coach CEOs of Fortune 100 companies who have stood there and told me, Forbes, you pitch my company better than my marketing team. You synthesize it better. You get it to people to understand it. So I do that for people, but I need you to do that for yourself, or the wonderful ideas that you need to get out to the world will what? Like they did with my dad, they will die with you. And why am I so passionate about this? Because my dad died at 70, 15 years ago, January. I never got a single invention out to the world. That breaks my heart, more than you possibly know. And this is truly the secret. Begin with the end in mind. I knew I was not going to wet my hair, or I wouldn't have done that. You have no idea how long it takes. Look at James's hair. It's so quick for him in the morning. An hour. But you ladies know that, don't you? All right, so one of the things that's very powerful, my favorite story of all time, bear with me here. Guy walks into a forest, and he sees trees all over the place with these bullseyes and an arrow, dead center, dead center, dead center, dead center. And he goes, wow, this is the most amazing marksman I've ever seen. I mean, literally dead center. How can you possibly do that over and over and over again? And so he's wandering through the forest, and finally he sees the guy, and he says, hey, are you the guy who did this? He had some arrows and a quill. He said, well, yes, I am. He said, I'll give you anything. Teach me the secret. It's fantastic. So it's rather quite simple. You shoot the arrow first, and then you draw the bullseye. Begin with the end in mind. What do you want to have happen? Now that, for me, speaks to the idea, don't pitch me an idea that nobody needs. Don't come up with an idea that you love so much. My family loves it. My cat thinks I'm genius. My mom loves me, and nobody wants it. Fill a hole, fill a need. It's a lot easier, a lot more lucrative. So how did all this begin for me? I would be very happy just being an actress. It would have been lovely being Julia Roberts or Sandra Bullock. That didn't quite happen, though I've starred in movies and television shows, and I've had an amazing, goofy career. But I also like to do stand-up and speak and all kind of other things. And one day I find myself in a studio. And I don't like selling, by the way. I hate selling. Can you just make sure you know that? I do not sell. I don't think I can sell. I get intimidated by selling. But I'll pitch the shit out of anything. I didn't say that word, right? Let me tell you something. I am not selling myself. I am presenting, empowering, and being here for all of you to watch, witness, and enjoy. You can buy it, but I'm not selling it. Although for $100 in my room, we can talk later. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble. So in the beginning, there was a pen. I literally walked into a room, there was a camera, production studio up in Hollywood, and it said, sell me this pen. And I thought, oh, geez, really? Now, I know you've seen this in Wolf of Wall Street. I've been doing this, I did this 30 years ago. I picked up the pen, and I said, All right, the great thing about pens, my mom, when I was in college, would write me these longhand notes, and I kept them like 2 inches thick. And I realized that a pen like this can reach out and touch somebody's heart. And Jake of Body by Jake came out of the dark and said, you're going to make me a lot of money. In fact, he grabbed my face. And for 5 years, I pitched and talked about every fitness product known to man. He then sold the network that we worked on together for $500 million. All because of the way I sold a pen. Well, here's what I did. What didn't I do? I didn't talk about the clicking or the writing or how cool it felt in my hand, which if I had more time, I would have you demonstrate. In my class, I have people sell me a pen. I've never met anyone who sells it better than I did, and I didn't even know why I did it that way. But y'all get so tied up with, oh, look, it's got black ink, it's got a felt baloney. It's the benefit. What can it do for you? Well, that's the big thing about everything you're pitching. It's not why it's important to you, it's what does it do for other people? So you're so locked into, it does this, 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 and this. I can't sell fitness equipment like that by telling you it's got steel, it's got rubber, who cares? It makes you look sexy in a bathing suit. Or naked. Because if information could cure, we'd all be rich, skinny, and happy, and what? Apparently we're not. So this was me in the beginning. I was kind of a goofy girl. I talk about that you are the sum of the obstacles you overcome. There are people who look at me right now and go, wow, good. Looks kind of hot together, pretty. By the way, I look at me and go, that's pretty, that's really cool. Because that girl wants to be this girl really bad, and she doesn't know that she's going to be. It was a very, very tough beginning. I had a baseball bat hit and break my nose when I was 8 years old. We grew up, my dad stuck his hand in a printing press. He spent 3 years in the hospital. I had a lot of stuff to overcome. Believe me, you would not, whatever tragedies happen in your life, you would not take it and trade with me if we put it on a tree. My little foster son was murdered here in LA 21 years ago. You don't want to deal with some of this. But you want to keep going, because you know what? I wouldn't be on stage here talking to you if I was a trust fund baby, if I had an easy life, if I was always gorgeous. All I wanted to be when I was her was pretty. I was incredibly shallow. And then one day, it happened. If you want to know the secret about that, I'll make you buy my book that I haven't written yet, James, I know. It's coming, it's coming. Oh, and then, wait, I gotta go back. Speaking of coming, I got very pregnant. No, scratch that. Seriously, that was a very bad transition. You get all of me right here. That is me pregnant with twins at 42, by the way. 2 7-pound children. And the funny thing about it, if you're going to be in the infomercial business, you should have a great before photo. I do. That turned into the most amazing conversation. In 2002-3, 9 weeks after the babies were born, I get a call saying, would you please come to Toronto to be with Jack LaLanne? We want to pitch a juicer. I met a man who had the perfect pitch. You know what it is? Jack simply said, if man made it, don't eat it. He also said, he also would go up to people and say, are you happy or married? He also said, he said, I can't afford to die, it would ruin my image, but sadly he did. We had a conversation, him and I, the most honest, gut-wrenching conversation of all time. I just pushed out 2 babies. I was struggling to get my weight back, my life back, wondering if I'd ever work again. I meet a man who is the epitome, the legend of all time. We talked together, and you know what? It ran for 8 years in 80 countries. Ran up to 400 times a week. And it grossed $1 billion in juicers, and that was before the juicing craze. Now it's all of a sudden come full swing. He's been gone 4 years. He'd love to see what's happening. And of course, another show that I did with Montel, again, getting to talk about health and wellness and fitness. That's still running, thank God. I love you, Montel. So, you look at what is your idea? Do you have $1 million idea? And if you don't, that's okay, because I didn't. In fact, I didn't have an idea. But what I did have was, in 1982, I got mugged. I was walking in Los Angeles, and I spent 4 years in a dojo, kicking and punching anything I could, and then studying Aikido and Wing Chun, and I've been a martial artist for the last, 20-some-odd years. When I broke my knee, again, an obstacle to overcome, I became a licensed massage therapist. It's not because I like seeing people naked. It was a great job. And I was an overweight dancer, and somebody put this in my hands. I didn't invent it. The Chinese did 2,000 years ago. But I did something no one else ever done before. I looked at it and said, this is the greatest fitness product on the planet. So really, that's kind of a yo-yo. You don't have to be the inventor of the idea. You have to be the person to what? To pitch it to the world. In fact, let me bring up, come here for a second. I have a knack for finding, come here. I'm just going to let you demo it. You've never tried this before? Never. Okay. I put it in my hands the first time, and I thought it was kind of silly. Come here for a second. Now, come here for a second. I just want you to watch a couple things about how I pitch. Nice to meet you. I'm Forbes, and you are?
Nice to meet you, Johnny.
Nice to meet you. Give me your thumbs. Okay, all I want you to do is to keep it spinning. Go 10, 9, don't get too nuts on me. 8, 7, 6, 5, don't let it sag. 4, 3, 2. Keep going. Good. Now don't let it sag. Pull your belly button in. Right there. You guys watch his pecs fire? Yeah, this is what I do on television, by the way. You working a little sweat there? You're all right?
I ate it all last night.
All right.
I want to burn it off really bad.
Don't talk.
Okay.
All right, point your fingers. So that's my entire pitch. You're looking at his chest. In fact, do me a small favor. Would you mind taking your shirt off for me?
Should I?
Now watch. Give me thumbs. Give me thumbs. Okay. Point your fingers. Point your fingers. Relax. Go 10, 9, 8. Point your fingers. Now, do you guys see, all kidding aside, turn around for me. Do you see what's firing here? My ladies, if you've got bra fat, you want a SpinGym. Turn around. Nice. Let me see your back. Do you see all of that firing? Go overhead for me. Oh, you got all excited, huh?
Yeah.
Go overhead.
I have one of my idols touching my back.
Go overhead. Okay, and so now we're watching all of this fire, yeah? Nice. SpinGym does, I don't know a product in the gym that does that, do you?
Nope.
Would you like to buy one?
Yes.
There you go. Give a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I go on television, and that's what I do, by the way. So one of my other little pet peeves, I've been married for 23 years, I legally get to touch naked men. Thank you very much. Come on, how good is my life? But literally, that is the pitch. I don't even pitch SpinGym. Give me your thumbs, you feel it, and I walk away and make people chase me. I really don't like to sell it. So that is a kind of a funny way to do it. This changed my entire life. Now, by the way, talk about failures. I took this on the TV series Pitchmen, and you know what? I got my head handed to me. I had two men, Billy Mays and Anthony Sullivan, tell me I should go home. I was made to cry on national television. I watched it in a room full of, a couple hundred people. It wasn't a good night. And you know what I did the next morning? I turned to my husband, and I said, let's mortgage our house and everything that we've got, because damn it, I know this works. I don't care if everybody said no. And everybody said no. And I gambled everything I had on this. And I don't necessarily recommend that you, well, thank you. I don't necessarily recommend, and James has talked about it, you gamble everything. There is a time when you know when to quit. I haven't found it personally. And don't fall in love with your product, but I did, so I've made some cardinal mistakes. My company's worth $12 million today. Thank you. I will share with you in my personal session a time when I stood on a concrete floor in customs in Long Beach when they were going to throw out 44,000 of these. And because I'd made a trademark infringement. The stuff that I've gone through to bring this to market is so worth hearing. What you're willing to go through to make your dream come true. I am the absolute epitome. No one ever gave me anything. I did not marry to the top. In fact, I support my entire family as a woman, mother of 2. So I'm a huge advocate of that. Although I wish some man would take care of me at some point. I don't know. Let me share a little sidebar on that one. I watched too many Disney stories when I was younger. He totally messed me up. I kept waiting for some prince to save me. The moms are all dead. The stepmothers are all evil. Shame on Walt, truly. And thank God when Shrek came along, good chicks are fat and green. They heard for that. And this is the perfect pitch. So by the way, I have 500,000 Facebook fans, okay? Go on my fan page, Forbes Riley fan page. $544,000 today. I built that on my own. There's nobody, I do my own, you write me, I'll write you back. I found, you say, oh, I should have money, find a PR person. I found the executive producer of this on Facebook 5 years ago, and no one was doing Facebook, because I am rather ingenious and have always had to find the back door anyway. This is the pitch.
Concept. Now, riding a bike is always a great workout, but our next product works up a sweat, and it fits, believe it or not, in your purse. It's called the SpinGym, and here to tell us more about it is Forbes Riley. She's the creator of the SpinGym. So, Forbes, come on up and show us what the SpinGym is all about.
I have 2 minutes to pitch this.
I don't know if you can tell, but Forbes and I go way back. She is Miss Energy.
I can tell. So, I got a SpinGym. I can put this in my back pocket,
You
right?
can take it anywhere with you. The idea is that you wait all the time, right? But no one has time to go to the gym. In fact, you wait in the doctor's office, don't you? You guys say go from the big office to the little office. I'll be right with you.
So what can I do with the SpinGym?
All right, so put it in your hands like this.
Okay.
Simply pull it apart, and you want to keep it going. You don't want to let it stand.
going.
There you go, baby. Now,
I feel like I'm playing the accordion.
Lisa's winding hers up.
I gotta wind
Well,
mine up.
what you're noticing is that you can do it everywhere. Now, straighten your arms completely. And what are you working, Travis?
I'm working my deltoids, which is my shoulder muscle.
Okay, now put it here, and what are you working here? How about where all the ladies have all that flab underneath your arms?
Oh,
Look
yes.
at those pipes.
Okay, these are 50-year-old arms. I'm turning 50, guys. This is how I did it.
All right, so what are some other good exercises? Because that's good for your triceps.
You can also do abs. Who wants to see abs?
Yeah.
All right,
Now you're
show us
wearing a dress.
abs.
You've got Travis. Get down. Come here, Jim. Let's go. Down on the floor, right here. So now your spin gymming now is up to 20 pounds of resistance every single time you pull. Now,
So how are we going to do these little sit-ups?
all right, come on. Okay, so now lean back. Everybody lean back and spin. Pick up one leg and pull.
We be spinning.
Now pull up both your
my
legs
goodness.
and do this.
I can't do my abs aren't there.
Whoa.
Here, take mine because it's all spun up. Notice I didn't stop. I kept going.
Any time of the day.
know what?
How much does this cost?
This is $29.99, and by the way, it comes with all the DVDs so that you can see. We also do cardio with this. How about your in and out
But
of
I heard
thoughts?
that you actually have something for our audience.
You guys, move it. Get one. And that resulted in me becoming the $2 billion baby. Give it up for that. That's what's kind of cool. That pitch, 38,000 hits on the website. Very quick, very intense. I didn't really let them talk. When she couldn't spin gym, I didn't care. I kept going. I knew what I needed to do. I had an objective. I knew what the end needed to be. I needed to get that audience on their feet and that excited. And it worked. So pitch, it's a thought. It's a one-sided conversation. But it is designed to get a response. It's not a conversation. It is not a speech you give to somebody when you get a moment. And by the way, I don't have a whole lot of time today, which is sad. I do when you come to me. I have a lot of time. I spend a lot of time with people. But you need to get this. One of the things that I recently uncovered about pitching is an assumption. You know, people say it's something that's taken for granted. Oscar Madison, if you remember the reference there, and who does? Does anyone know where? Yes? Do you know where Oscar Madison comes from? Odd Couple. Who said Odd Couple? Raise your hand. You get a spin gym. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're very welcome. Geeks of the world unite. Yo! So Oscar said that when you assume you make an ass of me, I don't agree. I agree that you need to make an assumption. So for example, someone came up to me and said, after listening to one of my speeches at Forbes, I got the perfect pitch for you. I'm a photographer. My name is Calorie Prolap of Prolap Photography, and I can make your memories last forever. And that was it. So that's my pitch. You like it? Okay, what didn't she do? She didn't make an assumption that, one, a pitch is not a dead thing. It's not a sentence. It's not something you just give and hope it lands somewhere. It's designed to elicit a response, in fact, a positive response. Had she taken a moment to assume who she was talking to? I'm Forbes Riley. I'm on television. Who are you pitching? Even if you're in an elevator. She should have said, hi, my name is Clara Prolap. I've been in photography for 20 years. Give me some credibility about her. And then say, you know, Forbes, I know you're on television. You probably have a lot of photographs. I've seen you on Facebook. May I offer you a 1-hour free photo session in exchange if you'd put one of my photos on Facebook? And then stop talking, because I would have said yes. You meet a celebrity in the elevator. What can you assume about the celebrity very quickly? One, they don't want to be bothered. So if you bother them, that's not a good thing. They have limited time. However, you can also assume that they are always looking for a great opportunity. Wow, and I've had that moment. Wow, if I have a great opportunity, I have a couple of seconds to say it, how can I couch it? You've got to be thinking that game. If you get James in the corner for a minute, you have a chance to ask him a question, or Rudy, or any of the celebrities. What are you pitching? Do you have something to pitch? Make an assumption about them. What is it that they could get from you? Most people assume nothing, and they just start talking. And if you really look at who you're pitching, their eyes kind of glaze over. There was one pitch, called me on the phone, and people pitch me every day. I went to the bathroom and came back. I put it on mute, and he was still talking. Not a good pitch. Not someone I'm going to do business with. But I'll tell you what, if you have the chance to meet me or Kevin Harrington, and you've got a product, and I can see it, and by the way, I see it like that, I can get it on home shopping, I can make you $1 million. Got a pitch for me? Don't make it very long. Make it very concise and very, very to the point. Know that I want to make money on television. Know my business. People pitch me fitness products all the time as though I have no idea what fitness business. Forbes, you know the fitness business is a $4 billion business, and I've got a and that's all I hear. How about you assume that I know all that? Let's just start with, I got something that's going to make you a lot of money, Forbes. You ought to see it. That's your pitch. Demo it, show me, and leave. I've taken those people to a lot of money and a lot of success. Know how to pitch. All right, so speaking about pitching, something you need to do, I didn't understand for the longest time a couple of very basic things. One, you need a team. Obviously, James helped show me that. I watch his whole team work, from Felix in the back to Chris running around. It's about a team. I didn't know that I'm quite the maverick. Anyone here kind of a lone entrepreneur think they can do it all themselves? It doesn't really work, does it? And you wish you had the perfect team. Also, going to classes and investing in seminars. Congratulations for being here. I'm noticing 3 empty seats here. Shame on those people, because they're missing out. Not only on me, but on whatever information we need to get today. You need to show up. I learned that lesson very powerfully, just to show up. I got a major national talk show with a broken nose. I showed up literally the day after I hurt myself, because that's what I was taught. You show up. You'd be surprised what happens when you show up. But also when you invest in yourself. Who here has got 20 bucks? 20 bucks. By the way, bingo, is a man who came up to me very first day. I didn't know him, introduced himself, and he and I became kind of friends. Who else here in the room had found, saw me and thought that, wow, I can do that? Had a great little pitch about his business. Oh, yeah, I'll take your $20. I'll take them all. Man, I just got money. I was going to let him put it here, but I'll just take yours. Tell me your name, by the way. Sharon, thank you very much. I don't need to. I'm good. This is how I make money, James, by the way. Anyone else got $20? I'm just pitching people. Hand me money. I love that. But I do know that you need to invest in yourself, invest in classes, seminars, whatever it is. I didn't know that. I do know, I'm going to put this on the table, because if I kneel before you, I'm liable to show you something I don't want to show you. I don't need the $20 that badly. Wow. I'm in a hotel room by myself. Come on, get over it. All right, so if you put your $20 in there, right? So that's you saying, I'm going to invest. Not in me. I got lots of money. But invest in you. I talked to someone out there who said she didn't quite have the money for James's coaching, and I said, find it. It's there. Money's everywhere. It's all in abundance. It's all how you view it. In fact, if you simply go, I'd like to take an empty suitcase like this and go, I'd like some money, and go 1, 2, 3, bam, all the money that you want is there. You just have to believe. I happen to believe it comes when you want it to. Who else believes that? No, you said that, but who else truly believes that? Do you? Thank you. And that is kind of the inspiration. And thank you for standing up. The difference is the energy, the passion that you bring to things. It shows up. And it affects everything that you do. All right, so the word no. I'm going to give you a couple of real quick nuggets before I leave. No. Whoever here has heard the word no? Yeah. I never liked it. Apparently, you get 99 no's to get a yes. I have a small ego. I know you don't think I do, but I do. And a little fragile girl, trust me. When I'm speaking in front of a room, I love it, but in person? So I used to hate no. I'd get it and I'd walk away. Then one day, this beautiful little boy came into my life. His name is Forbes Riley. Their 12th birthday, by the way, was 2 days ago. And he said, Mommy, I know it's dinner time, but I'd like a piece of candy. I said, no. He's 5 years old. Comes back a few minutes later. He's like, Mommy, if I eat my broccoli, can I have a piece of candy? He's going to make a great lawyer. No. A couple of minutes later, he comes back and he says, Mom, I'm 5 years old and I want a piece of candy. And I said, yes. And you know what happens? He didn't come back. So apparently it's not no that means stop, it's yes. Think about this. You ask somebody to marry you. If they say yes, do you go and ask somebody else? Only in Utah. So I learned the definition of no from my 5-year-old son. Please write this down and put it somewhere on your mirror. N-O. Write it N-O. Never-ending opportunity. You ask the wrong person the wrong question. No, get a lot of no's. Become a no collector. No's are sexy. No, seriously? I'm going to show you it's a yes. It's become a personal mission of mine. So the question is, what do you want? I need somebody in the audience. Who do I need? Who do I need? Dancing girl. Come here, dancing girl, real quick. The question is, what do you want? The game is, you're going to stand here. I did it with Kevin Harrington last night. He's still mad at me. Stand right here. Tell me your name. Melanie. Melanie, I'm going to ask you a question. You can't say the same answer twice. We're going to do it 1 minute or so. I haven't slept in 4 days. You haven't slept in 4 days? That's going to make my game so much more fun. And I can make her clothes disappear. No. Okay, so here's the deal. Melanie, what do you want? $1 million. $1 million? Yes. Well, that's nice. Here's $1 million. That doesn't matter. What do you want?
Happiness.
You want happiness. Are you happy right now? You're smiling.
I'm happy right now. I'm delighted.
So then what do you want?
My child.
You want your child. I don't know what that means. What do you want?
He's away at college.
Take a breath. Forget them for a second, although I want you to listen with Forbes Riley ears, because this is what I've become very well known for. The reason you're not getting what you want in life is because you don't know it and can't articulate it for real. You don't want $1 million. It doesn't matter. It's $1 million in the bank. What would you do if you had $1 million? Oh, well, you want happiness. Well, she's pretty happy, so that isn't what you want. The secret of everything that I do and everything that we all do, and people who really get what they want, is what? They know what it is. So one more time, take a breath, and I'm not going to pretend they're not here. What do you want?
My family.
Your family. What do you want? To be with your family. I already gave that answer. What do you want? Come on, say it. Just say anything.
Success.
Success. Okay. What do you want? I'm not getting it. What do you want? I'm getting tears, though. What do you want?
Better friendships.
Better friendships. What do you want? For real? Come on, look at me. Seriously, what do you want? Forget them for a second. What do you want? Why can't you tell me what you want?
I don't know.
You don't know. What are you doing in this room?
Trying to figure it out.
Trying. Don't ever try. What do you want? What do you seriously want more than anything?
To speak.
To speak, okay. What about what?
Reaching your goals.
Really? What kind of goals? What do you want? You want to speak to them about your goals, and yet you're standing here crying because we can't figure out what you want. Do you guys get that? How can she speak to you guys at this moment because she isn't clear? Now, I hear certain things, and this coaching goes on, I know, and I've never met you before, and I get a lot of tears. This is some of the work that I do. Because when you get this, and by the way, it's not here, it's here, and it takes a while. And most people, you did beautifully. I have to give you a big round of applause and a huge hug. Because I'm going to give you a gift. I'm going to tell you some of the things that you want. You want to be respected. You want love. You want to change lives. How come I can say these things? That's some of the things that you want. You want to be yourself. I appreciate that you want your family, but you want to be glamorous and gorgeous and fun and have people tell you that you're wonderful, don't you? You want all those things. Okay, I can't be the one to tell you that. You need to be the one to own that. And that's where your success lies.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Give a big round of applause. So real quickly, a couple of years ago, and I do this exercise all over the place. By the way, there's no right answer, and I will guarantee if I did it with any one of you that none of you would have the answer for the first few minutes, ever. Because it's not clear and it's not always easy to express. And it does take some coaching. And if we were in my coaching session, I'd have you turn to each other and do this until we drill down to a point where you leave so crystal clear, you can't help but get what you want because you know what it is. And you can articulate it. And so for me personally, I've done this exercise many, many times. A couple of years ago, I came up with 2 things. One, I wanted every day somebody to tell me that I inspired them. Do you know how hard you have to work to have people tell you that? And I stood there for a lot of people so they could tell me that. And thank God there's the internet and email, and I started getting these notes saying, Forbes, you inspired me to this and this and this. I'm like, man, because just to speak is irrelevant. Who cares if you speak? It's what you hear. Did I inspire you to take action, to be better? The second thing that I wanted, and by the way, wants are very personal. Don't laugh. But I wanted to be told that I was amazing. See, if you ask for it, people give it to you. Let me tell you something. The first time I articulated that, I wanted to throw up. But I realized that when I do magic tricks, people say, you're amazing. When I take my SpinGym out, you're amazing. And people started to say, Forbes, you're amazing. Thank you, Ingrid. And thank you so much for that, because it means more to me than you would ever imagine. People walk up to me and say, wow, Forbes, you're amazing. They don't understand that that's like money in my bank. That means I'm doing something extraordinary for other people. Real quick story. I'm giving a speech, one of my early speeches, when I didn't realize that giving a speech wasn't about me. I just thought, let's just talk about my life, and working at Club Med and doing the X Games as a host. And I've got all these things I couldn't wait to share. Basically, what the story was about, how you got into the back door, and I've gotten to a lot of back doors. And this woman, the next morning, so my team said, Forbes, don't ever do that speech again. It's really about other people. I'm like, whatever. So, and so we're sitting the next morning at a raffle, and there's this beautiful necklace sitting in the raffle, 150 women on an island, and she sits to me, she's like, oh, I would love that necklace. It goes with my daughter's getting married, and my neckline, it's gorgeous. And I'm thinking, oh, there's 150 people in the room, lady. You really shouldn't, what are the odds? And they start the raffle, and bam, they call her name. She turns to me and says, wow, I Forbes'd it. You know what it means to Forbes something? So to Forbes something means that you manifested something, especially when nobody thought you could do it. You had no idea how to do it. I would imagine many of you just being in this room, did you Forbes something to get here? Yeah, you did. I love this. Facebook me. Tell me what you Forbes. What is your speaking? I Forbes being on James Brown's stage. Hello. Yeah. Yes, you did. You got on his stage. You Forbes the SpinGym. I know it sounds crazy, but when people tell you no and they will, what have you Forbes anyway? What book did you write? What speech did you give? What child did you raise? Rudy, talk about Forbesing something. It's so powerful when you do it. This is something that I Forbesed. I have my own television series. I'm going to play this real quick because I'm going to introduce one of my best friends. That'd be Kevin Harrington. But check this out.
I'm Forbes Riley, and welcome to Forbes Living.
This is on right now.
The world, your stage.
From being in movies and commercials to hosting television shows, my career, it's allowed me to see the world and to talk to real people about their hopes, their dreams. And what I wanted to do here was to create a show that allowed me to give them an opportunity to change their lives. And that's what this is all about.
I graduated from Duke I got a degree in physics, but I just love making music. So I moved out to San Francisco, started a record label, Blue House Records.
See, the thing about me is that I've always looked out for the little guy or the working mom. But you didn't start out in the cookware business. What did you do before this?
I was a roofing contractor.
Okay, how does that become cookware? I often say that you are the sum of the obstacles you overcome.
About 12 years ago, we had no money for college. I mean, zero.
I was 210 pounds about 6 months ago. I started using my 185-pound plate. Wow. And I'm 185 pounds.
I had a brain aneurysm, birthed my twins, and I just I was so sick, so run down. Taking these essential oils and using that every day in the hospital was the only thing that really, really got me through.
So what we got here is a new kind of talk show. It's entertaining, it's educational, but truly at the core, it's about making people's dreams come true. My goal with the show is to give people a platform where they can tell their story, share their idea with the world, and we created Forbes Living.
Kevin Harrington here, an original shark from Shark Tank. I think one of the biggest things I learned from being on Shark Tank is that there's an incredible amount of innovative ideas out there, but very few places to really showcase them. We would get over 50,000 submissions, but only 200 of them would end up making it on the show. The other side of that is that it takes a very keen eye to spot a really great idea. And Forbes is someone who has that sensibility. She's always been one step ahead of the industry, and Forbes Living is a chance for her to give those 49,000 plus ideas a home.
I think one of the most unique.
So that goes on. That show, by the way, that television studio, I Forbes'd it. Remember in the very beginning you saw the drawings of that show that they let me put on? 2 years ago, I built my own national television show. I didn't know we were going to get a talk show put in there, and certainly created all of that. So give that a big round of applause. So, kind of in conclusion, I am a huge fan of the dream it, believe it, achieve it concept. I don't believe any of you dream big enough. I will prove that to you when you come one-on-one with me. Because you just don't, nobody gives you the courage or the permission to dream. I know that. If I asked you, it could be so much bigger, so much grander. And then once you get to the dream, you're like, oh my God, I don't necessarily believe it because everyone said no. So I'm going to go back to my dad for a second. I think about him a lot. I do magic as an homage to him. But I also do something, and James said, leap in the net, it will appear is not the thing. I actually aspire to that. I leap a lot, and I don't know where I'm going to land, and I don't ever seem to care. Because it's not only on my feet, but it's been an extraordinary life. So, quick little story about my dad. Just as 2000 was coming, he was dying. My mom got diagnosed with cancer first, he got diagnosed second. And he didn't really live his dream. He worked very hard for his family. We were a very blue-collar household. He stuck his hand in a printing press when I was in high school and spent 3 years in the hospital. We just kept moving forward. He gave me a lot of the gifts that I have to move forward, but I know that he didn't really get them all. I know he's crying about his dad. I get it. It's been pretty powerful. So one of my last memories of my dad, we're in the Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York City, and we're walking around the floor, and you got those little IVs, and it was the last day that I saw him. And it's funny that I see this here, because we were walking, and there was a bunch of cords on the floor. And I went to step over it, and he looked at me and said, you know what, I'm going to jump over this. I said, what do you mean? He said, kiddo, that's what you always do. He says, you just jump. He said, you've taken life by the balls, and you have just manifested so much. I don't think he used the word manifest. And he said, I'm going to jump. And I'm like, seriously, Dad? Okay. And so he grabbed his little IV thing, and he jumped, and he tripped, and he fell on the floor. And we're laughing, and I picked him up, and he just looked at me and said, kiddo, see, that's the difference between you and me. He said, I couldn't do that. I just couldn't jump. Would you all stand up for a second? And what I got from that, and from the legacy of my father, is that I will continue to jump, and I will continue to get people to do that, and I will light a fire under your ass so that you do, in fact, jump. Because many of you don't have the courage, don't think you can, don't know where you're going to land. I don't care. If you landed on the floor, that's okay, because I'm there to pick you up. Or somebody is, or somebody will. Let your hands go for a second. Close your eyes. Think about that one thing that you might want. For real, what would you like to do, to accomplish while you're here, to leave with? And if you could get it, if I could grant that to you and just give it to you, what would it be right now? It's that simple. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and I'm going to count 3, 2, 1, I'm going to say jump, is I'm going to ask you to blow the roof off this hotel by screaming the word what? Jump. As loud as you possibly can, because if it's loud enough, maybe God will hear it. Maybe someone else will hear it. But it could manifest and become a reality. You have enough faith in me that we could do this. Okay? So on 3, and I'm simply going to say 3, 2, 1, and you are going to scream as loud as you can the word jump. Are we ready? Get it firmly in your mind, because that's the only way it works. You got to know what you want to achieve it. 3, 2, 1. Jump! Thank you. Let me take my props and Chris, if you'd help me, I'm going to take the money. I don't trust you guys. Oh, and I did get $20
Help
if
her
you
take
want
this,
to.
because we're going to bring Kevin up.
Oh, you don't have to give it to me. If it was a $100 bill, I'd keep it.
All
Thank you
right,
guys
we're
so
going
much.
to roll right in. Yeah, it's an honor. I love Forbes. Just the most energetic, caring person, isn't she?